Good day to all fellow scientists. We are back again at tackling maths and science with your favorite sensei, Sensei Mohao. That's me. Our lesson for today will be tackling inequalities and equalities. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do so. If you like what we are doing, what I'm doing, just comment and press that like button, comment and say, Sensei, we love what you are doing. And yeah, and for inquiries, if you want me to be your personal tutor, you can WhatsApp me at 081 537 9527. That's my WhatsApp number for inquiries if you want me to be your personal maths and science tutor from lowest grades in primary up to matric. I tackled that. So let's start. Inequalities. Let's say we are given such kind of a problem, and it is x squared minus 7x minus 8 that is less than 0. So now, how do we tackle this now? So first of all, which is what we basically do, this we just change it in a form of algebra, in a form sort of like solving for x, since we must find the values or the factors. So now when we do it like this, what must we do? Good, we must open two brackets. We are factorizing now, and it will be x and x on this side, and factors of 8, that when we multiply them they will give us 8, and when we add or subtract they will give us 7. Will be 8 and 1, because 8 minus 1 will give us 7. So now what happens then? The signs, this is the sign of it is the indicator sign. It tells us whether the signs are the same or signs are not the same. So it means that the signs are not the same, and this is the sign of the bigger number, like this. And now it will be x plus 1 equals to 0, or x minus 8 equals to 0, and it will be good minus 1, and we take the 8 to the other side, it will become a positive. So most of y'all, my fellow scientists, do this mistake. You do everything correct and end your answer here, which is not good. Remember, the reason why we did this, it was so that we may find the factors. So after this here, we are not yet done. So what's the next step? I use the step, I say this is -1 on the number line, and this is 8. Since we know that on the number line we have the integers, the negative numbers and the positive numbers. So now let's try to find any number that is in between -1 and 8. Let's use 3. So now, what's a number that is less than -1 on the number line? We can still use -3. And a number that is greater than 8 on the number line, we can use 10. So now look here, because this is a less than, so now we know that our focus will be on whether if we substitute these values in this equation, it will either give us a positive number or a negative number. For example, let's try to do it. So it's x squared. Let's substitute -3 and -7, -3 minus 8. It gives us, oh, I haven't changed this. Okay, let me change this into a normal thing. 22, which it gives us a positive number. You can see that it is a positive 22, which we won't be focusing on whether it is a positive number. Even if we may try with any other number, as long as it is before -1, let's say -10, it will still give us a negative, it will still give us a positive number, you can see. So now let's see in between -1 and 8. Let's use 3, the chosen one. It's negative, so you can see it gives us a negative number. And we can also try twice just to check and to correct whether we are on the right track. You see, it still gives us a negative number. So now here it gives us, let's try 10, or okay, let's try 14. We'll come back and try 10. It gives us a positive number. Let's try using 10. It still gives us a positive number. So now here, since the main focus and here the sign is less than, which means we'll be only focusing on the side where we have a negative number, which is in which portion? This portion at B. So now our main focus will be here on this middle portion. So now how do we then do this? We now know that our values, our factors are in between this numbers, in between -1 and 8. So now how do we do it in terms of the factors? So we know that in terms of x, it must be greater than or less than. Good, it must be greater than, which means we must go to the right side. Greater than -1 or less than 8, because we must go to the left side. You understand? So now let's say we are given something like this. X let's say we're given something like this. So what are we supposed to do? Good, we must do it in terms of factorizing and find our critical values. So now here it will be x, good, x and 0. Don't ever do a mistake of factorizing them first. It will just take you back to the same answer. Just waste time, because of you. It's like you are given something like this and you want to go back there and you will go back there again. You see, you are given something like this, we just go straight to this. We don't go back to putting it in a quadratic form. So now or x plus 4 equals to 0, which will give us x equals to minus 4. So now here are our values, but then now since we know that it is less than or greater than or equals to 0, so now let's separate, putting it in the number line system. So now we have 3 houses. We have the A, B house and C house. So now here we have 0. Oh, sorry. According to the number line, we have -4 first, because of in the number line we have the negative numbers first, then after that we have the positive ones. So yeah, we do it according to the number line. So now from here, let's choose any number that is less than 4. We can choose -7 here, that is in between -4 and 0. We know it's -4, -3, -2, -1. So let's choose -1, and here we can just choose 7. So now let's try to substitute any of these numbers inside this formula or equation. So now it's -7 -7 plus 4. So our answer will be a positive number. So now let's try -1. It will give us a negative number. And let's try +7. +7, it gives us a positive number. So now what's the focus point or focal point will be B, because less than or greater than, it will represent that we're focusing on the negative. So we are going to visit B's house. So now we now know that the values or the factors must be in between -4 and 0, which means that the values. So now here, remember this, since now we have the negative or equals to, we cannot do it like this, because, and another thing is because of, you can see here we are required to do it in either this bracket formula, whereby we will say that x is an element of real numbers. It's from -4 and 0. And you can see that my brackets are the block brackets or square brackets. And or we can do it in this crocodile format, which we will say x, and x must be greater than or less than -4. It must be greater than -4, because of it must go that way. So now, since x is our focal point, we'll say x must be greater than or equals to -4, and when it comes to 0, it must be less than. So less than 0. So that's how we do it, given that x is an element of real numbers. So this is how we tackle it. And let's try to do the last one, which this one is very tricky. And as I'm doing this, you can pause the video, try to do it on your own, then after that you unpause the video just for extra practice. So now let's say we are given this formula. So how do we do it? Good. The first thing that you must do here is that you must factorize. It is totally wrong for us to just go straight to the answer and say x plus 1 is equals to 20 or x plus 2 is equals to 20. That is totally wrong. So don't ever do that. So we factorize first from this side here, the left side we factorize, and let's start. So it's x times x will give us x squared. If sorry for that, if you have not watched my video on factorizing, you can watch that video, and yeah, just for extra practice if you have not watched it. So now it will be x times x, which will be x squared, and x times 2, which will give us 2x, and x times 1 will give us plus 1x. We can just say x, it's the same. And the last thing will be 1 times 2 will give us 2. And now we have done this in this route. So now what are like terms 1 and 2 because of this x here. This and this are not like terms, good, because of the exponents are not the same. So now will give us 3x plus 2, and then the next step, good, we can now take this to this left side and start factorizing again. So let's do it again. Plus 3x, and here, good, we take the sign of a bigger number and we subtract, will give us negative 18. So now from here we go back to this step again. Yeah, I know some of y'all can be complaining right now and be like, yo, this step or method is taking us back and forth, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. So it's x squared, we know it will be x and x, and the factor of 18 that will give us 3 when we subtract it or add it will be 6 and 3, because 6 times 3 is 18, and 6 minus 3 will give us 3. So now about the signs, what do we do now? This sign represents, good, the signs are different or unidentical or not the same. So we know that it will either be a negative and a positive here, and the sign of a bigger number, it's this one. So now let's proceed here. What is the next step? Good, we now find the final answer. We take 3 to the other side, it will become a positive, and we take negative 6 to the other side, it will become a negative. So now what's our next step from here? Our next step from here is, good, we build the houses now. So it's negative 6, it's 3 according to the number line, and it's Abby's house, it's Bobby's house, it's Charles' house. So now let's find the number that is less than negative 6. We can use 10. Here we can just use 1, that is in between -6 and 3, and here we can just use 6. So let's try to substitute them in the car. So and remember, now we will no longer be using this one, no longer be using it. We will only be using this one for the factors. So now it will be -10 minus 3 and -10 plus 6. The answer will give us a positive number. And now we can just do this. For this portion here will give us a positive number, and 1, it would give us a negative number. So remember here, yeah, most of you now really get it, that either way we can just use any number as long as it's greater than this 3. It will still give us a positive number. Even if I used 10, I know I used 10, it will still give us the same thing, positive number. So now what's the main focus? Main focus here is greater than or equals to. So now, which will mean that it's positive. So now from here we must look at the sides that have positive. So our main focus will be on Abby's house and Charles' house. So now the number must be from what? From the negative infinity to -6. Good. And which is the union sign, from 3 till positive infinity. Why positive infinity? Because you know there is no end to the number line. We can't say up till 1,000. It's highly impossible because there's no end. So now we can use that crocodile method that many students really don't like it. So now we know that it will be x must be less than or equals to -6, and x is greater than or equals to 3. This is how we do it. So I really had a nice time studying maths with you, and yeah, again, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do so. Please like and share the page, and enjoy yourselves and have a beautiful day. Thank you and cheers. Bye bye.